I've got a cornucopia of lights here, and partly because I saw no tests of this new Light in Motion FC1000 Ranger. I know these are, I'll get better video during the day. But on the left here is my old Denat 200. It's 200 lumen. And then I've got this really nice Niterider 950 Boost that was on sale at REI. This is the Niterider 1400 Race. There is the Light in Motion FC1000 Ranger. And there's the Light in Motion Imijn. That's an 800 lumen. So that's 1000 lumen. That's 1400 top lumens. So I'm going to do some light shots. I'm going to compare it with some other lights too. I've got street lamps here, but that's all I've got to work with. And I'm going to give some comparisons out in my backyard, which is a little bit darker. It's also grassy. It's got a tree in it, so that might help with the beam shots. So I'm going to do each of these on low and then high and medium and high, or whatever settings that they have. And the first one is the Denat. No, not that. There, so that's the Denat on high. So you can see that 200 lumens, it's actually not too bad. I spent a number of years with this, one on the handlebars and one on the helmet, mountain biking in Arizona at night. And they're adequate, but they're no comparison to any of the new ones. So the next one up is the Niterider. I'm going to put the beam right about the same place. That's the Niterider 950 Boost. It has a boost mode. When you double tap that light button, the problem is like when I'm riding and I want to boost it, it just never works. And the light also, it's really wiggly on its mount. The mount is a great mount and a quick release, but it's wiggles and rattles around, and you can see as you're riding, and that might be irritating to some people. So that's on low, and I'll have screen text on here on the lumens. That's medium, that's high. Now that's pretty good. You can see there's a good spot there. Might be better as a helmet light, but it's actually pretty good for riding. And you can see that the edges are a bit in front of the tire and well defined. That's one thing I like about the Light in Motions. They seem to have more light output just because they put more light on the road, and they have a better beam pattern right down towards the tire for road riding, especially avoiding a lot of garbage and stuff that we get on the streets here. Back to low. Now I'm going to try to double tap this. Low, medium, high. I'm going to try to double tap this and get boost. So that's boost, I think. I just never seem to be able to get that when I'm riding and I got my gloves on and I'm trying to double tap it. So that's 950 lumens right there. That's a pretty good amount of light, I think. Next up, now we got the FC1000. That's the Light in Motion. That's the new one. So the lowest is like this pulse mode. The Niterider ones have, and the Denat have a real flash. That's more of a strobe, and this pulsing thing, I just can't see this lower light pulsing thing working during the day to warn drivers. And I'll put some measurements down in that. That's a kind of a reflective light barrier at the end of the street where the forest starts. I'll get some measurements, I think, later on. Put them on the video. So that's low for the. So you can see that's a much wider spot. See, and see how much closer to the wheel that is, and you can see the edges are much fuzzier. And in practical use, this works a lot better than the Niterider spot, I think, for me. It just puts more light out there without spreading it out where you don't need it. And it seems to me, as I'm riding through the city and avoiding junk and stuff and garbage on the streets and small dogs and people sometimes, that the light in motion has a better beam pattern. I think that's across the entire line, because the Imijn does something similar. It's got a really good beam pattern. So that's low. Oops. Yeah, it goes down. So that's high, sorry. So that's low. So that was the pulsing mode. So this is low. So it's pretty usable. It's pretty good, especially in comparison to the Donat. The light spread is very good. That's medium. And again, I can see myself using medium on this to conserve battery power when I need to, because it just throws out enough light. And that's high. Now that's pretty good. You can see that the beam spot is larger and much more diffuse. It throws a really good distance. So I'm pretty happy with that. And this has the red side lights. I like the red side lights better than some of the bright yellow ones. It's just these red side lights, as I'm riding, don't seem to shine in my face or anything. So it's actually a pretty good setup, I think. It's a really great light with good lines. It's just a bit more expensive than some of the others. So that is the Light in Motion FC1000. And now for the Imijn. Again, Light in Motion likes to put these on. So there's that pulsing one. I mean, you can hardly see it. I have to put my finger in front of it to see. Let me get this focused in front. So you can see the low on the Imijn. The Imijin's 800 max. So the low, medium, high on this is going to be a little bit lower than the FC1000. So that's low. So you can see again, that's not a bad amount of light. You can see this has got a really good, again, light in motion beam pattern up against close to the wheel, and putting light in a more diffuse spot that seems a lot more useful to me. So there's medium. There's medium. Again, it doesn't seem to sacrifice throw. It doesn't sacrifice usable light. So that is the medium. And that's the high. Now with the Imijn, you get the larger battery, and you get swappable batteries, which you don't get with the FC1000, and you don't get with the Niterider 950 Boost. That's one of the things I liked about the Donat 200s, is they use AA batteries, so it has a bit of a limited runtime, but you can just keep swapping out sets of batteries forever. It's just a really good beam pattern. And now the last one, this is the one that I think I'm going to buy and return the rest of these, because the beam pattern is really good and the light is just a hellacious amount of light. And I can definitely see myself using the lower light levels on the street when I need to, and when I'm mountain biking at nighttime, especially out here in the Pacific Northwest, I can see myself using the bright beams, especially on the descents and stuff. This is the Niterider 1400 race. So I chose this instead of the 1800 race because there's some difference between the 14 and 1800 lumens, but the real difference is in the light levels and the run times, and you can see that on their websites. So there's the low. See, this has got a really good, it's not like the Lumina, it's got a really good diffuse pattern near the wheel. So that's low, medium, and there's another medium level. Right, this is 825 lumens. Low, medium high, and high. There's 1400 lumens. And again, look at that spot there. That's a more diffuse spot like the light in motions that I find much more useful, especially for road riding, especially for mountain biking. You want to be able to see stuff in front of your wheels. See, it's got this nice little pattern in front of the wheels, but this throws out a lot of light. This is a tremendous amount of light. in this important front area here, as well as this beam just going out a long way. This is a really good beam pattern, and I like this one. So I'm going to take this out to the backyard now and do some testing in a slightly different environment.